Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today, we will talk about the possible issues that will figure in during External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's visit to the US. With the second wave of coronavirus hitting India hard, there is a scramble for vaccines. It is in this context that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has reached the US on a visit which will mainly focus on how India can get the maximum vaccines for its huge population. It is likely that the discussions will focus on supply of procurement of vaccines, raw materials for vaccines, and also regarding India's push for waiver in intellectual property rights on COVID vaccines. In the agenda today, we will discuss this issue, and to help us understand the matter, we have two former diplomats with us, Ambassador Achal Kumar Malhotra and Ambassador J.K. Tripathi. But before we start our conversation, have a look at this small report.
Amidst huge shortage of COVID vaccines in India, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar reached the US today to meet some top ministers of the Biden administration and vaccine manufacturers to see how the country can receive greater supplies of vaccine doses and raw materials. Jaishankar reached New York, from where he will travel to Washington. In a statement, the Ministry of External Affairs said that in New York, Jaishankar is expected to meet UN Secretary General. In Washington, he will hold discussions with his counterpart, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and meet other cabinet ministers and senior officials of the administration dealing with the bilateral relationship. The External Affairs Minister will also engage in two interactions with business forums on economic and COVID-related cooperation between India and the US, the statement said. Jaishankar landed in the US about a week after President Joe Biden announced that the US will send 80 million doses of COVID vaccines to needy countries. Although he did not name any recipient country, it is expected that India would be one of the beneficiaries, considering that we had helped the US last year with urgent supplies of hydroxychloroquine medicine for treatment of COVID. The US has expressed commitment to support India in the fight against COVID. Even under the framework of four-nation Quad grouping, the US has committed to help India becoming a hub of COVID vaccine manufacturing. Jaishankar is also expected to press the US administration to push its proposal at the World Trade Organization for waiver on intellectual property rights related to COVID vaccines in order to ramp up manufacturing of this urgently needed life-saving medicine. India, along with South Africa, had made the proposal for waiver in October last year, and it is since pending before the World Trade Body. The US recently extended in principle support to the proposal, after which some other nations also favored the move. However, several countries and major global drug manufacturing companies are resisting it. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Ambassador Tripathi and Ambassador Malhotra. Welcome to the program, both of you, sir. So let me ask Ambassador Malhotra first about the External Affairs Minister's visit. Jaishankar is in US, he just reached today, and main focus is going to be vaccines. So what are your initial comments about that visit?
Very rightly pointed out from the cryptic statement or the press release that we have from the Ministry of External Affairs. The larger agenda is not known, but we all know that the urgency is to the issues which are related to vaccine, whether it is procurement, whether it is manufacturing.
Yeah.
Now, we know that initially, when India, the second wave was about to begin, or it had just started, there was some initial hesitation on the part of the United States of America to come forward to India's assistance. But since then, things have improved considerably.
And we are looking at various possibilities. We have also received considerable assistance aid from the United States of America in terms of oxygen concentrators, etc., etc. So, what is India's priority at the moment? There is definitely, a gap between the availability of vaccines in India and the required number of vaccines, considering the large population of India. So the first and top priority is how to fill this gap. As we understand that the USA has got a considerable surplus of at least one such vaccine, which has already been approved in India, and that is Covishield. I believe they have about 60 million doses lying surplus. Now, we can't expect them to, provide all those 60 million to us because they have their own commitments. They would also like some of those quantities to go elsewhere. They probably will have also some sort of commitment in the WHO program of COVAX. But this is one area where we probably, he will be focusing while he's in New York and Washington. The second issue is related to the supply chain.
Right.
Even though we are the largest manufacturers of vaccines, and we have two vaccines which are already being manufactured in India, and third probably will start, there are issues related to the inputs and the components which are required for the manufacturing of these vaccines.
Right.
This is where the United States of America has an important role to play. And of course, in the long term, keeping the long-term objectives in mind, we are focusing on issues which are related to the TRIPS agreement, that is trade-related aspects of the intellectual property rights, which include, the licensing and patents and trade secrets and things like that. And for which we, along with South Africa, have also made some proposals in the WTO, and we are expected to give there a revised proposal. So this is the larger backdrop. And of course, we probably would be interacting with some vaccine manufacturers to set up their, manufacturing facilities in India for local consumption within the country and also for export to some countries. But that I would put into the medium to long term objectives. The current immediate objective is how to address the
Shortages.
immediate shortages of the vaccine in our own country.
And Ambassador Malhotra, there is also context to this visit. Is like President Biden recently announced that America will be sending shipments of 20 million doses across the world. But of course, he didn't mention any country. But so maybe India would be asking for a chunk in that also, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. As I mentioned right in the beginning, according to reports, they have 60 million doses of Covishield. And that suits us because we already have approved this vaccine, number one.
Right.
So there are no other issues involved in it. But as I said, they are not likely to give away the last of their vaccine to the rest of the world. And in fact, there has already been some murmurs of protest within the United States of America. There are some, senators who have been questioning the idea of, parting with these, because these are rich countries.
Right.
But at the same time, there is a realization that we are in a situation, Ajay, where no one is safe unless everybody else is safe.
Exactly.
The United States of America can protect itself, we can protect ourselves. But at the end of the day, if so many countries surrounding the United States of America are not safe, so will be America.
Right.
Similarly, in our case, if our neighborhood is not safe, we will also not be safe. So some point they have to come out and help out the other countries also to the extent. And there is some commitment within the framework of WHO's COVAX program,
Right.
where most of the countries, including India, have made some commitments. And of course, there are larger issues related to Pfizer and Moderna coming to India. Recently, there were reports that the Punjab government had made a request to Moderna, but they have refused. They said they'll be dealing only with the central government, not the state government.
I think Delhi government's request has also been rejected.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Their request has been refused because they said they will deal only with the central government. And also, to be, in any case, they say they don't have enough vaccines to spare till the end of the year.
Right.
So, how to immediately procure vaccines, how to ramp up production within the country, based on our, existing
Capacities.
manufacturing capacities,
Yeah.
and how to ramp up and establish new capacities. These are all issues interrelated to each other, which I think our External Affairs Minister would be focusing on,
Right.
both with the government and also with the private sector in the United States.
Right. So, Ambassador Tripathi, I come to you now about, as we are discussing about External Affairs Minister's visit to US. Now, procurement and raw materials has been an issue from the US, as America has been saying that America first and we had to first secure our people and all that. So, how do you see in that context the visit?
You see, later or sooner, Mr. Kaul, America will have to come around and allow us the procurement of raw material as well as the finished product, because we have already helped America, and not only in America, many countries during the first wave of COVID, and that they know they are grateful to. Secondly, America is also bound by the joint statement that was issued after the Quad Summit, which clearly said that India would be a hub for production of COVID vaccine against coronavirus, and for that all the four countries will jointly act together. And so America is bound by that to help India, to work along with India for that. And America cannot step back just because few of the companies who are having patent or who are having the monopoly in the production of in the manufacture of raw material are resisting to it. So I don't think it will last long. Later or sooner, and I think sooner better than later, America will come along, as well as EU will also change its stand on passport vaccine, whatever they call it.
Right. So, Ambassador Tripathi, as you mentioned about India helped the world, and we also supplied vaccines to 94 countries. And now the critics
Yes.
say that it was a wrong policy of the government to send out vaccines when we were requiring those at home. So, what is
No,
your view on that?
You see, the critics are very much ill-informed and their homework is not proper. Because if you go by history, June last year, Serum Institute of India entered into an agreement with Gavi, that is Global Alliance for Vaccination and Immunization, an outfit launched by WHO. And under Gavi's program, COVAX, the vaccines are supplied to various countries. Now, in that agreement with Gavi, it was clearly mentioned that by February, India will supply 10 crore medicines, and by 5 crore medicines, and by March they will supply 10 crore medicines through Gavi or COVAX. Out of which 30% will go on commercial sale. But out of that, we have been able to supply only 1.97 crore doses free of cost. 2.2 crore we supplied to Gavi, and 3.47 crore we supplied on commercial basis to various countries, out of which, I mean, we could not supply the full order. We could not fulfill the order. Secondly, you see, it is very obnoxious for the critics to think that while we enter into agreement under license to produce a certain vaccine, and while we get raw material from you, we will not supply you the finished goods. This is obnoxious, ridiculous. So critics do not understand what actual situation is.
We are discussing about External Affairs Minister's visit to USA in the context of vaccine requirements at home. So, Ambassador Tripathi, I come back to you since we are talking about Gavi and India's commitments to contribute to that program of COVAX. So recently we saw a top Serum Institute official also saying that government did not consult and did not think about our own requirements, but they exported vaccines to all over the world. So do you think that the official was also ill informed? Didn't understand?
No, you must have seen Mr. Adar Poonawala's statement after this statement of executive director or whatever came.
Yeah.
Said that he is not authorized to give that type of statement. He does not know.
No, he may not be authorized, but he is involved. I mean, all these professors.
No, also said he does not know the actual situation.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah.
Matter ends there. I mean, then there is no point in giving any much credence or weightage to this statement of the director.
Sure. So, Ambassador Malhotra, I come to you. We're talking about IPR issues, and in that context, if we talk about U.S. Trade Representatives, recent statement about that U.S. will engage in text-based negotiations on this waiver issue. But don't you think that it is these are the normal processes, text-based negotiations take place, take a lot of time. But when there is urgency, we are requiring these vaccines or manufacturing, ramping up the manufacturing right now. So do you think there is no sense of urgency in America or other countries? What do you say?
Well, this is not America alone, because the matter has to be ultimately decided at the WTO. It's the 1995 agreement of TRIPS, as we call it, trade-related issues of intellectual property rights. And in the piece of vaccine manufacturing, as far as I understand, the limited knowledge I have of the technical aspects, this requires a multiple kind of waivers. It undergoes various stages, starting from the formula, the patenting, the trade secrets, and the copyrights. So many things at different stages are involved. And unfortunately, any issue which is international in nature or dimensions, whose dimensions are international, is the results are painfully slow. Imagine earlier, there is already a provision in the TRIPS agreement on some relaxed kind of some flexibilities, particularly in the event of medical emergencies, and probably it's called some compulsory licensing, for example. Even to clarify that, it took about 5 years for the WTO.
So that's what I'm saying. We don't have so much of time to wait for 5 years.
Yeah, that's exactly. There is an urgency. This must be understood by each and every concerned country. We have been asked to prepare another counter proposal, a revised proposal. India and South Africa had done it in October.
Right.
It's in any case too late. I think from October to May.
Already 8 months have been lost.
So many months have been lost. But having said that, Ajay, all that measures which are being contemplated under this, IPR and things, they will be helpful in the very, very long term. They have a long-term perspective.
Right.
So there are certain things which have got to be done right now.
Right.
And focus on, this must go on simultaneously. And it must be expedited to the extent possible. But whatever has to be done right now, all the focus should be on it.
Exactly. So that is my point. So Ambassador Tripathi, I come to you. So what has to be done now. COVID emergency is right now. We can't wait for 3 years, 4 years for negotiations to take place. And what do you say?
I think right now the requirement is to expedite approval to 3 more Indian companies who have already requested for, whose application is linked with the government, who can use Covaxin. Plus, Sputnik, as you see, Sputnik has already come, and they say that from July start manufacturing vaccine as well, and maybe one or two other vaccine also will come. Cipla has the vaccine which is to be administered through nose. So I think with all this, without waiting for the IPR decisions and final decision by US, by WTO, we should go at war for whatever is legal and whatever can be done immediately.
Right.
And that's why I say government should expedite the approval for these three companies and also the approval, Dr. Reddy, for approval has already been granted. I mean, also instruct Dr. Reddy's laboratory to expedite the production.
Yeah, that means only 4-5 companies can manufacture, but we need maybe hundreds of companies to manufacture, considering the requirement we have, so, isn't it? So we need to just liberalize this system. Ambassador Tripathi.
These 4-5 companies which are in pipeline or which have been given approval, like Reddy's, etc., they will at least be able to give us a sufficient number of doses for our own people in the short term.
But that will, but they will take 2 years, sir. But that they will take at least 2 years too.
By end of the year, they say that there will be at least 80 crore vaccines available, which is much more than our requirement. And you see, after first dose, now it says that the interim or the gap should be 3 months. So in any case, for those who have just taken the dose, the next will be available. They will be entitled for the next dose only sometime in July or August.
But sir, if we are 130 crore people, so we will need 2 doses. That means 360 crore vaccines doses we need, isn't it?
But not all of them, because at some point of time they say that if you vaccinate about 40 to 45% of the population.
Okay, let us make it 30. Let us make it 300 crore. 300 crores and 80 crores mean nothing. I mean,
not 300 crore. 30% of the population, 30 into 2, 60 crore. 60, 70 crore.
okay, so I'll go to Ambassador Malhotra about this monopoly thing. So, do you think the big pharma companies, I mean international pharma companies, are maybe, I'm guessing that they are holding back this waiver issue? Maybe they are using their influence with the countries, European countries particularly. If we consider German Chancellor recently, what she said about India's pharma companies, what do you say?
No, Ajay, the point is, big companies which are in the West, they obviously don't want any compromise on the intellectual property rights, etc. In fact, UK and Japan, both are they have been very explicit about their resistance to making any concessions. That's why they said instead of putting, one way is to go for the waiver, the other is not to go for the waiver, and there is a third way in between. That's why the situation has arisen where India and South Africa have been asked to revise their proposal to find a midway kind of a thing. They invest millions of dollars into research and all that, so they don't want any. This is at the end of the day
Dilution they would want.
Commercial angle.
Yeah.
Now you see, Ajay, we must be candid in admitting one thing. Nobody in India anticipated the magnitude and the velocity of the second wave in this country.
Right.
And therefore, there were so many things which we should have anticipated and started planning right in the beginning, maybe 6 to 8 months ago. We did not do. One such thing which we could have done was we should have anticipated that Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech alone will not be able to handle the kind of quantitative quantity we require.
Right.
So with Bharat Biotech, we have no problem in sharing the patent or anything else. We can share it with many Indian manufacturing countries. We can invite outside.
Exactly.
And we have to also create a confidence amongst the foreign companies that there will not be any problems in terms of, because Pfizer is also worried about some indemnity clause and a few other things. So it's a give and take. We have to create a playing field here where they will feel comfortable to come and set up their business and invest money.
Exactly.
So something which 6 months ago should have started. It's never too late. So at least with the Bharat Biotech, we can involve as many companies as possible with whatever little manufacturing capacity they have, so that cumulative capacity will increase.
Exactly.
So whatever drop in the ocean is coming, let it come from within the country,
Yeah.
and then invite. Because here we don't have a problem. Bharat Biotech, we can share, give the patent. There's no question of intellectual property rights
Yeah,
here.
we have to get your licensing.
Unless we create. So there's no need to create. So they'll feel comfortable, manufacture, give them some assurances. So at least we can make a beginning in that direction.
Right.
And again, Pfizer and Moderna will again have the issues of storing them sub, minus 60 degree and all that kind of things.
Which is difficult in Indian conditions.
Yeah, so why are we even counting on Pfizer and Moderna? I don't understand. The argument that we used in the beginning that we should not depend on Pfizer and Moderna is valid as much as it was then as it is now.
But now that we are in a desperate condition. We want everybody and anybody whoever can contribute.
There is the infrastructure. Have you created overnight?
Right. So we had to close.
Rural.
Yeah.
And mind again, our requirement is not going to be in rural areas.
Right. Right.
So how are you going to ensure this minus 60, 70 degree vaccines will reach our rural areas?
No way, yeah. So we had to close. Ambassador Tripathi, or last brief comment, as you heard Ambassador Malhotra about where the situation went wrong, and maybe we should liberalize internally, domestically liberalize these licenses and allow many more companies to manufacture. What do you say? Brief comment.
Certainly that would be one of the best solutions. But my only fear is that there are many companies which have the proper setup and expertise to produce this type of vaccine, because it requires special. I understand there are 4 or 5 companies only. So the need is to give license to these 4 or 5 companies immediately and encourage others to gear up their so that they also start producing the vaccine for which the material is also available and technology or is also available.
Right. So whatever capacities we have, must boost them. I mean, there should be all efforts to boost those capacities and manufacture as many vaccines. But the time of this program today is over. Thank you both of you for participating. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.